How's it going, fantasy baseball fans? I'm your host, Hussein the Brain, and you're watching The Couch. I'm here with our fantasy baseball editor, Andrew Eggers. What's up, Drew?
Hey, how you doing?
We're going to try to cover just about everything you need to know for your fantasy baseball draft. We're going to talk about sleepers, we're going to talk about overrated players and busts, bounce back players, and your specialty, young prospects. Drew, jump right into the sleepers. Here we go.
First up, we have Yan Gomez for the Cleveland Indians. He's going to catch every day as Carlos Santana moves to either DH or third base. This guy hit really well in the second half of last season, .319 batting average with 5 home runs in 49 games. Look for him to have considerable pop and about a .280 batting average this season. Then next is first baseman. You have Matt Adams, who stands out to me in this list. He should play almost every day as Alan Craig moves to the outfield. He batted .284 last season, had 17 home runs, 51 RBIs, and just 319 plate appearances. Imagine if he had like 550 or 600. He would probably hit like 30 home runs, 100 RBIs. Maybe we'll see that this season. Next up, we have second baseman Alexander Guerrero of the Dodgers. 27 years old, defected from Cuba this offseason, signed a $28 million deal in the offseason with the Dodgers. May not start with the big club in April when the season kicks off, but ultimately should be up by, say, mid-season at the latest. Has a lot of raw power. Third baseman, there's a prospect, Nick Castellanos for the Tigers. He'll play third base most often this season as Miguel Cabrera moves to first base. This kid has some pop, 18 home runs in AAA last season. I think he's going to work out real nice in his first big league season. Shortstop is next. We have Chris Owens of the Diamondbacks. This guy, he might be the best sleeper in this entire list. He had .330 for AAA last season. A 5-tool guy almost with, a little bit less power than you'd want. But he's got speed, he can hit for extra base hits. He should break camp as a starting shortstop as well for the Diamondbacks. Next in the outfielders, we have, I think, Christian Yelich is a great sleeper to own. This guy's going to have pop, he's going to hit extra base hits. He had .288 batting average in 62 games last season, but stole 10 bases in 10 attempts. I think you might see 25 steals this year and a .300 batting average. We'll take that for sure. And then starting pitchers, Masahiro Tanaka, the Japanese export that everybody was talking about this offseason, was 24-0 last year in Japan with like a 1.27 ERA. He won't pitch nearly as well in the big leagues with the best hitters in the world, but 16, 17 wins this season is really realistic. I think that he's a great sleeper because a lot of owners may not want to take the chance on him. If you can get him in the 3rd, 4th, maybe even 5th round, you're doing yourself a really nice, it's a really good move. Last but not least, relief pitchers, I got Rex Brothers. This lefty throws gas. He's probably going to share responsibilities closing to start the season, but about mid-season, he should own the closing role. Ultimately, this guy had a 1.74 ERA last season with 19 saves. Those numbers should be pretty close this season. And that's what we got for sleepers.
Next up, let's talk about overrated players and busts.
Yeah, the guy at the top of this list, Yasiel Puig, played himself into such high expectations after his great season last year. He won't play that well this season as pitchers figure him out in his second year in the big leagues. But ultimately, he's a great talent. He's just going to be a little overrated coming off such a hot start in his rookie year last year. And
here's a list of bounce back players. Players that underperformed last year but should have a good bounce back season.
The two guys I want to talk about on this list, Prince Fielder and Cole Hamels. Prince Fielder's playing for the Rangers this season. He's got great power. At the ballpark in Arlington, you're going to see that ball jump right off his bat. His home run total should go up. Cole Hamels, on the other hand, he pitched a lot better last season than his record indicated. He should have 12 to maybe 15 wins this season, if not more. He's got great stuff when he can locate his fastball and his changeup.
Up next, we have your section, the young prospects.
These rankings were only for the year 2014 and not Dynasty. I put Billy Hamilton because the guy should score a bunch of runs. He should steal 50 to 60 bases, probably hit 260 to 270. Right behind him is Oscar Taveras, who would actually be number 1 if this had been Dynasty rankings. But still, this guy should be a 300 hitter lifetime. This season, maybe 280, 290. He's got some pop too, so watch out. Then down below, you see Gregory Polanco. This guy, he should own the starting right fielder position by, say, mid-season in Pittsburgh. They're going to keep him in the minors so they can actually add an extra year of team control onto his contract. But with that, this guy has got speed, he's got pop. These 3 players, along with the list of players you see here, are some studs going forward.
All right, that's a lot of players that we couldn't go over details on every single player, but make sure you check out the website, fantasycouch.com, for more details and a complete list. Now let's head over to Twitterland and see what question we have there. Who has better value in the 5th to 6th rounds? The hitters Ortiz, Holiday, Kinsler, or the pitchers Sanchez, Hamels, Gio Gonzalez?
I'm going to say the pitchers, Sanchez, Hamels, and Gonzalez. Pitching is more scarce in my opinion, at least top-end pitching. I would want to put the foundation of my pitching staff together early on in the draft. I think there's more talent hitter-wise later, like middle, later of the draft. So I think you should go with pitching up front. Obviously, if you can get a really good power hitter in the first couple rounds, or a guy that's going to have like 5 tools, you want to go that route. But try to build your foundation of pitching early, so then you can start plucking off hitters middle to late parts of the draft.
That's some pretty good general advice for this 2014 draft. I have some general draft advice that I use for football. I think you can apply it to baseball. I'm pretty sure you can. Everyone says do a lot of mock drafts, which I agree with, but I want to take it a step further and tell you to do real drafts. You don't do a real draft online, but you don't even have to participate in that league. Just do a real draft. It's a better draft scenario, more realistic draft scenario. As you know, you go in mock drafts and people draft someone stupid and leave, or they leave in the 5th and 6th round, and it's just not a competitive draft. So go on a real online draft. Do that a couple times before you go to your real draft with your buddies, and you'll be better prepared. Wouldn't you agree? You can just use that for baseball too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And before we go, I want to throw some out there too. For those guys that you're getting ready to draft in a league and you're watching this video and you're getting all your ranks, make sure you check the actual settings of the league before you draft. If it's a rotisserie league, if it's a category scoring league, if it's point scoring, if it's a daily lock, if it's a weekly lock, these all are variables and ultimately can change the way you draft. So if it's a category league, you're probably drafting a more well-rounded team, people who can steal bases, maybe relief pitchers who can get holds and saves. So you want to cover all your bases, as opposed to, points, where maybe you want to get a bunch of power hitters who, can drive in runs and get you points that way. So make sure you check the settings. Even when it comes to daily lock and weekly lock, those can have effects on how you draft as well.
Exactly. I know it may sound dumb, but you'd be surprised how many people go in and then they complain they didn't know the settings. I'd say the same thing in football, but you especially want to know what type of league you're in baseball. It's just more players, more games, pitchers, hitters. It's just so much more intricate, so you really want to know what type of league you're in, know the settings. And that's all the time we have for this show. Make sure you guys subscribe to us on YouTube for more videos. We plan to do a lot more baseball videos this year. And go to the website, fantasycouch.com, for more articles and all the details on all these players. Thanks for coming on the show, Drew. Hope to have you again.
Thanks for having me.
See you guys on the next video.